then they will just take the Gnar themselves. So Ultra Prime passing this one over. Yeah, I'm not gonna say I was too surprised with this one, Mazel.
All right. I got some Hopium Emporium that has bled over from yesterday into today. Okay, I'm gonna sell it to you real quick. All right, Hacker on LucianN. There you go. That's it. That's the reason why they picked this pick.
Okay. A lot of dashes on LucianN.
It's comfort. Okay, but my actual point is that it's comfort, right, for Hacker. It's something that we have seen him take.
But why do you need to first pick it?
But
right?
Yeah, I realize that, right?
And
I think that's the most
difficult
difficult thing for Ultra Prime here, because it seems like they're drafting themselves into a serious corner, which we kind of saw them do in game number 1.
Yeah, and we see Zoom is now going for the Gangplanks of the Camille, because obviously didn't enjoy playing into Poppy, and also the matchup didn't go too well. Okay, then the Lissandra coming in for Cryin. So a pick that Cryin can make things happen on, a pick with agency. A lot of mids have been taken out of the pool ultimately, and also syncs very well with a LucianN. I do like this potential Swain coming in from Knight, but we'll see what he opts to go for in the end. You're going to see a repeat of that first game if this is the case, where it's kind of like solo laners and jungle secured in the first 3, and bot lane gets left till later.
I would actually really like to see the Swain come through for another time, and it is going to be another iteration of the Knight Swain here, and that's a scary night indeed.
So at least top esports don't have Talia this time, but they've ended up with a Gnar and the Poppy again. So I'm not exactly optimistic for Ultra Prime at this point. Let's see how the rest of the draft goes. Ultimately, there's still a lot of bot laners on the cards. Bear in mind, top esports are now in the position I feel like is stronger going in the second rotation, is that they get first pick. So if we ban away a lot of AD carries, they get first choice, and then they get counter pick in the support role.
Which I think in terms of what top esports are looking to set up for, I think is super important for them. I do really wonder what Ultra Prime are going to be banning here, because I think there's still so much left on the table. And obviously we saw them banning away like the likes of JackeyLove's Draven last game, things like that, but they actually opt into the Tom Kench. That was such a nuisance in game number 1.
Yeah, and here's the difficulty, is that if you ban away too many supports and not AD carries, top esports could just take like Nautilus, for example. So, you know, I mean, top esports could honestly ban Braum here, and then Ultra Prime would have to ban Nautilus, and then you could kind of just have a lot of AD carries left open and available. They will instead go for the Callista, and the Ultra Prime maybe ban the Draven here. I feel like you're less concerned about Senna with Tom not being there, because you don't really want to play Senna Seraphine when there's Lissandra LucianN mid jungle, and also you don't have that same flexibility. But Draven will come out as that ban. Not too many surprises there. LucianN Nami is open and available, so the plus side is this is still like a very strong bot lane, and a lot of the answers to it have been taken off the cards. The downside is as soon as you lock that LucianN in for top esports, everyone knows what the support pick is. So you lose that counter pick aspect of the matchup at least. But if you're confident that there is nothing left open to really hinder you, then why not?
So then what do you go into something like that? I mean, we have obviously been really far down on the totem pole with the ADC position, at least at this point. You still do have some mainstays like this Jinx that's getting hovered right now. Do you think there's anything out of left field that we could see outgo?
I mean, the thing with LucianN Nami is that, like, you know, if they don't snowball, then you can kind of just like outmatch them later on. Like, often they need momentum. One item spike is a huge one. So they end up going for Xayah and Nautilus. I think Nautilus is fine. I think if you're playing a LucianN Nami, Nautilus provides that threat that if you like dash forward, you'll get locked down and killed. You have the layering with the Xayah as well, which is really strong. But it's still going to be a hard lane. If JackeyLove and Mark play this one effectively, they can just keep chunking out Elk and Chelsea. So I can understand the thought process, but ultimately this is not just going to come down to the 2v2. This is going to come down to Ultra Prime as a whole. You have a top lane who has a global ultimate. You have a very strong mid jungle in terms of setting up plays, leading to the sides. And you have a bot lane who needs all-ins. They need, like, Elk and Chelsea want the all-ins. JackeyLove and Mark want to just poke them out, burst them out, not give them a chance to respond. So if Ultra Prime can lean towards bot, which is what they did in spring, and make plays happen, that is the game plan. But if they mess that up, I think it's just over.
And we saw last game, at least from the blue side, Tian's level 2 gank on bottom lane. I would expect a little bit more love given at least this time around, to try and get that LUcian Nami ahead. And I guess I do want to harken back to last game and the differences that we can see in the top lane that'll lead to Hacker having a little bit more strength there, but also the fact that, and I hate to bring it up every single time, it feels like, but it's something that's important to me, the comfort that comes through, right? Shiauc getting subbed in does get his most played on the Nautilus, and again, we were talking about the difference that Shiauc brings to the table, and it is that forward aggression, that engage potential, and I think this is a moment to really step up to the table against a extremely powerful bottom lane that ran the table in last game specifically, to try and show up in this one.
Yeah, and it's going to be on Shiauc because normally what happens is that like when a LUcian is trading on the Xayah is you'll never dash forwards, you'll dash to the side. And so you dash to the side, you trade heavily, and then you keep moving in that direction. So you never end up overstaying in the feathers. And as a result, Elk, you kind of need your Nautilus to lock down the LUcian so you can finish your pullback, get the all-in. So we'll be quite reliant. And I emphasized this before, Ultra Prime need the early game to go in their direction. They need to find that pressure, and I think it could start off in the mid lane. This is such a powerful mid jungle from Ultra Prime because you have the CC from Lissandra, who can set it up easily with the claw, and then that means you have guaranteed Sonic Wave from the Lee Sin. So punish Knight, put him behind, get advantage in the mid jungle, and then lean that bot lane. That is the game plan for Ultra Prime.
See a little bit of vision game in the game plan here for Top Esports as Tian puts down his early ward. Will be getting the back to get the scanner, come right back out. We'll have some vision as well on Ultra Prime's red buff, so they'll see Hacker's start of the jungle here. At least they'll know they're looking down here as the extra gold. Give it to Elk. I like it. A little bit of early bonus for Ultra Prime, which at this point I feel like you need everything you can get.
Yeah, experience as well. Often we see solo laners hang around for that experience from wards because that can make you hit level 2 on the first wave,
especially with the
have
Nautilus.
to clear an extra minion in the second.
Want to get that extra damage. Ooh, nice little lollipop there onto JackeyLove. But Shiauc, a warm welcome to the series there from Top Esports' bottom lane.
Yeah, I mean, this is the problem, is that like level 1 is the best time to punish LUcian Nami because they don't have that full combo, a little bit weaker. You can see JackeyLove's gone the W, doesn't have his dash, doesn't have his Q. Problem is Xayah kind of sucks level 1. I'm gonna be real. Like all you can do is Q and just auto it. You can't do your feather pullback. You're really waiting for level 2. They are finding some windows to trade, but look, Shiauc takes so much damage in return.
He does. Mark taking a decent amount himself, though. Again, level 2, not just yet for Elk. Doesn't have the blade collar to bring those feathers back, but Shiauc ever looking for that little bit of a lollipop on the dredge line to try to get Mark on the other side. We'll go into the minion there, which signals JackeyLove to go forward and trade a heavy with the press the attack onto Elk.
Yeah, that's the problem. You hit your Q on a minion because you're trying to fish for one, and then immediately it's like you've just lost so much pressure.
Oh,
in lane.
come on, Tian. Come on, don't do this to your buddy Zoom. Come on. No, we will see. We'll see Wayward. Just watch as Tian tries to take down Zoom. One couple auto attacks, and that's 400 gold into the pocket of Top Esports Tian.
Yeah, and it's just good wave management from the side of Top Esports, setting that up for a gank opportunity, and in return, Hacker not really able to find anything. So positive, strong gank, and this has kind of been the Tian setting the pace in the jungle of this series now. We'll look at the state of the bot lane. No health potions available for Elk. Heal already burned. Any heavy trades that come in, you can see he's about 60% HP, will really set Ultra Prime's bot lane behind. Now, Hacker should just be able to pick up the scuttle on the bot side and at least provide some cover for his bot lane. They're actually potentially looking... No way Hacker can go for this. There's no way. Your bot lane is in too weak a position. He's just gonna... He gets the information, but he's not going to make anything happen.
Yeah, I don't think there's much to be said there, much to be done. But again, I want to check back into at least a bit of stability that we're seeing, even with that first blood going over to Top Esports. A little bit of that, good movement from at least onto Ultra Prime to the top side of the map. I still think that you're not getting those necessarily early blowouts that we were getting in last game. I want to see how much priority we see.
There's still time.
Yeah, I was going to say, because Ultra Prime, we're putting a heavy emphasis on the early dragon stacking. Last game, we were talking about early proactivity for them, so that is another avenue. And you can see they're moving down towards this bottom lane. They have decent vision game already around this pit.
Yeah, you see Top Esports bot lane are pushing the wave and having reset, so Tian actually makes his way there to cover them, to allow them to get the crash. And it's really important. Because so one of the things when you have a lane
Ward.
that
He's okay. Well, oh no. Luckily, I mean, even through all the chaos, luckily they get out Tian on the pickup in the mid lane. But as you were saying,
yeah, as I was saying, one of the things with the LUcian Nami is they have better sustain than you, and they have a lot of poke. So the best time to sort of fight is when you just come back to the lane and you're full HP with all your potions. That is the time where you want to try and find the all-in before they whittled you down. Now, Tian won't get anything from this situation. Did W late there, but should just be able to walk this one out.
if he didn't turn and run at that moment, he was in some trouble. Because you had Cryin coming up from mid lane. You also had the back started from Wayward and completed. So didn't have much help up there on the top side of the map. But we'll see as Ultra Prime do reposition some vision around this bottom side and get the back off for Elk, get back onto the map. We won't have that super early dragon contest. But again, no big leaky sieve so far for Ultra Prime.
Yeah, but ultimately Tian's been doing a lot for his laners and has fallen a bit behind in farm, especially those double scuttles being taken out. I love this from Hacker. This is so needed because your top laner has no flash. It's going to be a 2v2.
Though. Tian level 4. See if he can get some damage on the Zoom. Wayward's about to get Mega Gnar here. This is a tight 2v2. Tian in some trouble. He needs to get out of there now. Wayward does have Mega Gnar, but Hacker and Zoom tanking up a storm here. And it turns out to just be a bit of a wet noodle fight 2v2.
Yeah, bit of a missed execution on the W from Tian, so didn't block the second use of the Q from the Lee Sin. But ultimately, this was an opportunity Tian always loves to capitalize on, is when he's been a summon in a lane, he comes back and he reestablishes and he looks to punish once more before that flash is available. The important thing is that Hacker tracked that instead of going bot and playing for the dragon, because I guarantee if he'd gone and got that dragon, Zoom would have just died. And he would have been in such a bad spot because the wave was in a horrible position. He instead comes top lane, does a bit of fighting, allows the crash to come in, and doesn't let his top laner bleed out. So really nice play from Hacker there, even if he doesn't get a kill.
And now they're moving both back towards the bottom lane. But speaking of the bottom lane, JackeyLove is in some trouble. They got the cannon barrage from top lane. Shiauc goes down first, though. JackeyLove gets the kill, immediately returned onto by Elk and Ultra Prime on the board.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, a lot burnt there by Ultra Prime.
Don't do it, Elk. Don't do it, Elk.
Oh, no.
Don't do it, Elk. Okay, Tian waited a little bit there. Won't go for it.
Yeah, so ultimately, just because of the fact that the cannon barrage was banned from Ultra Prime, it is a bit unfortunate they have to burn that tool just to trade 1-for-1. But at the end of the day, Elk survives. He gets to push the wave in. They still manage to trade. And I think when you're against LUcian Nami, if you're trading kills, you're kind of happy with what Ultra Prime has. Now, Tian will get this and get out.
Neither of them had smite, so Hacker was just trying to come in and be a bit of a bugger, but will not be able to find that scuttle crab, and Tian actually pulls away with that one. But still no dragon focus here, so we can look at a replay of that bottom lane, that trade 1-for-1.
Oh, perfect, because not only does he grab the LUcian, JackeyLove tried to dash last second, so you get his E down as well. The layering comes in. The burst damage available to top Esports was able to turn around onto Shiauc. Bear in mind, this is not an aftershock Nautilus. It is that Glacial Movement Nautilus, so it does make you quite a bit squishier, but still a really nice play from Shiauc there.
I like to see it at least. The guy coming into the second game of the series, in a series where they definitely are reeling a little bit from game number 1. I think it's a nice little adaptation to this point. That's where some of that engage, some of that forward potential is what we were looking at for this player coming into this one. JackeyLove is level 6 now, though. We'll be joining Elk on that mark. Still, the Rift Herald being on the table now, we'll see Ultra Prime actually move their bottom lane up.
Yeah, and trying to make a presence here now. This could get super messy. Bear in mind, Swain has his 6 available, but so does Lissandra. So it looks like both teams potentially setting up for a fight here.
Full vision, too.
Yeah, so Tian gonna try and go over the wall and I think steal this one.
He's in there a little early there. Has to keep it verdict. Knocked Hacker out, but I believe they got it before he got knocked out of there. They will not be able to get the eye, though. And it's crazy. Last night, we had both eyes in one game taken out and not picked up. And in this one, we'll have our first one not picked up. But Top Esports, they get jumped on by Ultra Prime, who were waiting in their bushes. Wayward burning down, will go down. Nice with the Demonic Ascension. They get one back. It's, again, trading back and forth, but Top Esports move in to capitalize.
Yeah, Ultra Prime doing a fantastic job of seeing the mini Gnar is there. squishy, an easy target to take out. They burst Wayward, but they don't have the follow-through in the extended fight. As soon as Knight comes in there with the ultimate, they don't want anything to do with it. And Top Esports managed to get the blue buff as well. So a little bit of recourse, and you can just see how it plays out. Wayward, just a bit disrespectful, nowhere near Mega, and Cryin instantly picks him out as a target.
The kick away with the burn still going as well. He just tries to get away, but it's a nice, follow through by Top Esports, especially from Knight to move into position like that.
Absolutely. And now Dragon is on the table, obviously with Herald being dispatched. Expect the teams to lean a bit more towards the bot side of the map. But still, things pretty even. And I got to say, compared to that game 1 where, Top Esports were really starting to take control, this slower pace does put Ultra Prime in a better spot.
Yeah, this is actually huge as a turnaround for Ultra Prime, it feels like. Now, they were moving down around the Dragon Pit. They realized there's a lot of vision to be cleared out against Top Esports around that pit, so not necessarily going to go for it just yet. Now, actually, at this point, it's just a scaling game, trying to get JackeyLove as many resources that it can. But I do want to check in on those resources and on JackeyLove, because it is the LUcian Nami. You're looking to get that burst damage to full potential, and it really hasn't necessarily worked out for them in that factor, even if they are up in CS in the bottom lane.
Yeah, I think misconception people sometimes have is that LUcian Nami has to stomp lane, and also that lane is where they are strongest. But in reality, LUcian Nami's biggest spike is when they both have one item. You have Gale Force on LUcian. Sometimes Collector Second might be finished as well, and you have the Imperial Mandate on the Nami. This is why we often see Nami not build boots, because they're just investing all the money into that mythic. That is when LUcian Nami is really strong and where it needs to start taking over the game.
Oh, Cryin. Oh, he doesn't get up into the wall, though. Yeah, Tian gets out. Has the claw to get away. That was very close, but Cryin will live another day.
Yeah, flash ban, though, so that's something at least. And you can see Top Esports trying to get pressure around the mid lane to lean towards the Dragon. But Ultra Prime are there to contest them if they need to. Looks like Dragon will be started up, though. They're feeling confident. And we'll see if Ultra Prime try and contest this in return. They have the CC, they have the lockdown if they find the right target.
It's a 4v3, though. I mean, Cryin is backing. He has TP to get to potentially to the mid lane and get into the pit. But yeah, I mean, that's just Top Esports getting the first Dragon game at just under 12 minutes in. And very interesting to see such late stacking. But it's something that Top Esports will hold near and dear.
Yeah, it means that any soul will be super late, and if Ultra Prime want to lean on soul as a win condition, theirs would now be extremely late since they don't even have that first one. But to be honest, I think Ultra Prime, the fact the bot lane hasn't gone too badly is promising for them. The top lane matchup is going better than last game as well. So things are all looking better. It really depends how they pan out things from here, because I feel like they want to make use of this Lissandra Lee Sin combo more. It's going to be that one opportunity we saw and not much else. And we're starting to see the spikes being picked up by the side of Top Esports. JackeyLove has the Gale Force mandate. Mark is about 750 gold away. And that is the point where, you can just walk around and you just find a target, dash on them, burst them out. It is a bit trickier with the comp Ultra Prime has because there's a lot of defensive tools that can mitigate that. But it still becomes very problematic.
Mark actually on a roam here towards mid lane. You can see Top Esports just trying to get something rolling for themselves. Tian was actually invading onto Hacker's side of the jungle, and so he does get the Gromp, does get the Scuttle on the way out. I love to see the willingness to move from Top Esports around the map itself, but you got to expect next fight's going to be around the Rift Herald in 1 minute and 40 seconds. So we'll continue to see the farming go. We'll see Tian return to his side of the jungle, the reset come out from Mark, and it's all good graces until we get the fisticuffs again.
That's what we're looking for the execution in the fights. And I feel like, the expectation is that Ultra Prime have a lot of tools to start the fight. The point and click CC from the Nautilus, from the Lissandra. And if they aren't able to find the initial quick kills off the back of that, that's where things can be a little bit painful.
Yeah.
Especially up against the likes of a Swain. If that fight goes longer, can cause issues. Now, it's a minute away, and you can see Tian is already pathing over.
No.
The bot lane is still bot, but JackeyLove has full vision here. We'll see if he tries to bait them in, because Mark is here in a second.
He's throwing the W into the bush to bait him out a little
He
bit.
knows.
We'll see cheeky games. I like it, JackeyLove. I like it. A little bit of finickiness, a little bit of fun. It's just having some mind games, which is a core part to League of Legends. It feels like the scanner coming out from Mark just to make sure nothing's coming out. The culling and the tidal wave as they're trying to catch out Elk. Elk will have to use the Feather Storm. Tian on the side. It's very close.
JackeyLove deserves an Oscar for that performance.
He really does. I mean, that was some serious football.
W this bush because I do not know where the enemy bot lane is.
I would never know.
Oh,
they know.
In one of these bushes waiting for me. Yeah, now they know this whole time. Oh man, Ultra Prime must be so embarrassed.
Oh no, I'm embarrassed for them. Ultra Prime trying to get out of here now though, as Tian, JackeyLove, and Mark putting full force onto the tower with Knight coming down as well. Vision of Empire coming in. Nice re-engage from Shiauc. Tian trying to weather the storm here, though. Cannon barrage used from Zoom in the top side. We're finally getting the mid laners coming through here. That would have been a bit overzealous from Cryin. He doesn't take the claw. Tian trying to continue to be aggressive here. Might have gone a little bit too far, though. Has to flash, and here comes Cryin to follow it up. But look how fast he is with the phase rush, as Knight now taking pole position.
Yeah, I think you're kind of seeing, though, why the Lee Sin was not the best pick. Tian,
Tian, what are you doing? Oh, he's just locked out and dead. The Cryin dies because of it, though, so at least you get that. But there's a lot of damage given back to top esports as JackeyLove picks up the return kill. Oh, no. No, top laner, too. Does he do it? Is he just going to go under tower for it? No way. Wayward. Okay. Oh. All right. There will be a third movie. All right, there will be a third movie.
But we saw Mark go down as well, so I'm interested how that happened. But Tian just, yeah, I feel like he wasn't even looking at his own health bar. I don't know how else to phrase it. Just goes in at like 20% HP on a Lissandra. I'm like, I don't know what you expect. But regardless, this now means that Ultra Prime are going to be able to get this first tower, get some more gold on Elk. And he was a big recipient of these kills. 2-0-1 now. Definitely looking stronger, and it's important on this Xayah that he has a bit of a lead. But now okay. I mean, look at Tian's health. Yeah,
he's
so
like, I see wall, I stun in wall.
He's like, guys, look. And then it's like, oh, well, yeah, I mean, at least top esports respond to get the kill in return. It was just a very weird passage of play. And ultimately, honestly, Cryin could have flashed away and actually just not got caught at all initially. But then Elk...
Oh, feels bad for Mark.
Oh.
That's typical Elk play, though. That's exactly what I've come to expect every time I see Elk. If he has Gale Force, he's using it forward. We didn't see that in game number 1, but here on the Xayah, feel a little bit more confident in that moment. And
now I feel like they're comfortable to go for this Herald. The downside is that you kind of just given a bot lane. JackeyLove and Mark, they're at that spike I was talking about, the mandate and the Gale Force completed, and they will also deny a big wave, take this tower, crash it in. And they're picking up Dragon as well. Yeah. So top esports get a lot in return for the second Herald. The question is, what will Ultra Prime be able to do with this? They are looking towards this top lane tower. This is not worth if they only get this tower. They kind of need a tier 2 as well to make this one be a balanced trade.
The Shark Menace, I don't know if he's the Flash himself. Tian is just booking it to top lane right now, and he is so fast on the Poppy. They will have a defense. Wayward's up here, Knight's here, Tian will be here. It's a 4v3 with the Rift Herald. So they'll get the charge, but as you said, they want to try to get the tower itself. Knight is going to get the Demonic Ascension pop, but he already gets his life popped. The Cannon Barrage there and tier 2 tower delivered.
And you can see Ultra Prime, this is what that comp can do well. The lockdown of the Lissandra combined with the damage of the Lee Sin. And they knew, they got the Herald and they were like, look, they took a Dragon, they took a tower bot. We have to get more to make this worth it. And top esports try and contest, but just get like knocked away. So now Ultra Prime, it's not a massive gold lead, but they do have an advantage, and a lot of that gold is on Elk.
That's actually so huge as well, because the Xayah itself wanted to try to get the carry, but Elk himself, I need to see the carry for this guy, because I think he's been such an integral part to Ultra Prime's aggression that we've seen them utilize. We'll get to see that play, and speak of the aggression.
Yeah, this play only really works for Knight if he has stopwatch, but just overstepping. I think the thing is, you're playing Swain, like I am bulky, I had a giant spell in pocket, I'm confident, but I don't believe he had the stopwatch at the time and does just get taken down.
Shiauc, you gotta get out of there. Oh no, he's got the rest of his team. Tian, Tidal Wave comes out for Mark to try to get Tian out of there. Knight's going forward with the Demonic Ascension. Again, just try to keep those stacks rolling. We'll get some damage on Elk. Elk has to use the Feather Storm. Flash out as well. The Vision of Empire will go a bit wide. Tian on the side taking some damage from Cryin, but a nice dissuasion of damage from Ultra Prime.
Yeah, it was a good kick from Hacker, but you could see how scary top esports are now and their ability to look for picks. The LUcian and the Nami with that extra slow, that burst power, but really was Knight the one who set it up and just ran at Elk.
Okay, so we're gonna see a little bit of a play in the bottom right. Ooh.
Oh yeah, Zoom is dead, so I guess he just got solo killed.
Wow. Okay. Well, I think the conversation that we had at the top of the day about the top laner replacement, I think Top Esports feeling just okay with that. I think they're,
Yeah, I mean, Wayward's been playing fantastically this series. It was slower this game compared to the previous game, but bear in mind at this point, last game, Top Esports was 10k gold up. But even so, he's 40 CS up in the matchup, just solo killed him in the side lane, is going to be a problem for the side of Ultra Prime. And as this game goes on, Gnar just fantastic in the side lane, fantastic in the team fights.
He can't die.
You'll kill him here.
He can't die.
No.
That's what's crazy to me is this is the second game in a row we've seen such vast gap in the top side, right? Like,
Man, you know what it might be, Mazel?
Could it possibly be Gnar?
Maybe it's Gnar.
No way! No way! You get out of here with that blasphemy.
Maybe the highest presence top laner on the patch is pretty good. Actually, the highest presence champion. He's not even just the highest presence top laner. Gnar is the highest presence champion on this patch. So yeah, maybe it's Gnar, but Wayward doing a fantastic job of piling it, and now they're looking bot.
Oh my god, he's just doing so much damage, and Zoom can't do anything against him. Zoom has no say in this. They're TPing in from Top Esports as well. Knight just comes in and ends Zoom's life. Prior teammates mean nothing in this one. Top Esports are smashing down on Ultra Prime seemingly out of nowhere and seemingly without a big gold lead. They are just confidence gaming right now, and JackeyLove might have been overconfident there. Does get the depth charge used onto him, but the tidal wave again to stop the engage from Ultra Prime every time.
I mean, I love it. Feels like measured aggression. That's the big thing. It's like JackeyLove, yes, he goes aggressive there, but as soon as the ultimate comes out from the Nautilus, he's dashing away, he's disengaging, doesn't burn any long cooldowns, just a Gale Force. I mean, that is pretty long now, but not like a flash or anything, and is able to bait out the ultimate from the Nautilus, which shouldn't be available for this next dragon. But yeah, I mean, Top Esports, it just feels like whenever they see a window and opportunity, they are just so quick to respond and move down, and they have now managed to find themselves a gold lead once again. Third dragon in 30 seconds, and it's an Infernal Soul. I think it goes without saying that would be very disastrous for Ultra Prime if Top Esports got it. It will only be the third, but Ultra Prime really want to stop this from happening.
Yeah, I mean, they need to stop the bleeding a little bit, but Tian has just been a constant pressure. They're TPing it again, and this time it's Wayward on the backside with Gnar, and he's coming into the fight. The Gnar ulti back. Shiauc, he's already dead. Hacker about to follow him up here. Wayward and Tian on the side. Cryin and Zoom finally joining the fight, but I don't think they can say much here. You're already missing a big engager in the front line in Shiauc.
And Hacker's so low, and he's your jungler, so how are you supposed to contest this dragon now? Third of the game for Top Esports, and I love that, game one was we stomp, we crush, we destroy. The dragons went over to Ultra Prime early, and Top Esports didn't care. Top Esports know that the win con this game is the dragons, and so they've lent so heavily on them, and now Ultra Prime are staring down Soul in 5 minutes. They've started to lose control of the game. They're still pretty close in gold. There's still things they can do, but the pressure is starting to mount.
Really is, and it's getting harder to find those avenues in, right? And you can see they're still preemptively trying to set up these side lanes, trying to find picks if they can, but again, I just have to point out Tian's Poppy, man. He has just been everywhere. Constant pressure in Hacker's jungle, following up, just facilitating for the entire team, and this is the second game in a row we've seen this consistency.
Yeah, I mean, he's been fantastic on it, and especially when this is the matchup into a Lucian.
He don't stop. He don't stop.
Oh, no.
He don't stop.
Oh, no,
he
Zoom.
Don't stop. Zoom is probably pretty tanky, so he's not going to be in trouble there. But
I mean, it's not even the fact he's tanky, it's just the fact that Poppy doesn't have that much damage, and he has the oranges to cleanse. Like, regardless, you can see he constantly fishes for these windows now. Ultra Prime going to take this time. They know Tian's on the bot side. They will start clearing vision, contesting vision, and some camps around the Baron. But realistically, Ultra Prime aren't really going to start up the Baron. They don't have anyone tanky enough at this point, and they would be contested. And it's just time being lost. More and more time being lost towards this dragon where they need to work out a solution. And that, Mazel, I feel like it's probably going to be the big fight of the game. It's like you win it, and you're back in. You probably get the Baron on the back of it, or you lose it, and the game is likely just to be done.
And that's the scariest thing is we've seen it.
Look at Wayward, by the way.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say.
He's like a full, like, even if Cryin is about to hit 14, he'll still be a full level above him.
That's actually crazy. And that's also what I was trying to put out earlier is like this has been a second game in a row of this for Wayward. His domination in the top side. Oh, Vision of Empire connects. The engage from Shiauc because he has to. Cryin goes over the wall. He's all by himself. He has to go golden now. The tidal wave from Mark does a lot of work to separate it. Knight is healing so much, and he's going to go down. Hacker with a beautiful kick to end his life, and Ultra Prime so a little bit of sign of life.
Yeah, so there's two aspects to this. The kill secured by Ultra Prime, nice, but decent amount burn. Flashes from Shiauc and Cryin. That being said, like, it's not too impactful on either side, but not the place that top esports want to fight. In that choke, very risky. And
okay, this time I don't think he's getting out there, Aux. I don't know about you,
no, I don't think so either.
He is getting bullied up here, and Zoom will go down. Thumbs up from Tian, lets it sink in a little bit more.
Yeah, so good pick there. Managed to jump on the Gangplank, no flash, no way to get away. But yeah, that previous fight, choke point against the Xayah, not ideal. I think particularly because, you know, you're engaging on the Nautilus, but it's just perfect setup for Elk and Cryin because there's all this big AoE route. JackeyLove has to back away because of the cannon barrage. And then look, Elk this whole time has just been stacking feathers up in this area. And Tian realizes it's like, okay, I'm out. You're on your own. But Knight, unfortunately, cannot flash away from it and does get caught. Now, Elk,
Gale Force already used. Collector, one more auto tech. Doesn't do it. TP now in from Ultra Prime. This could be a bit of a fumble from top esports. There's the Sonic Wave, the kickback, and JackeyLove is dead.
Yeah, JackeyLove holding his flash there, refusing to use it, and does go down, does give a decent amount of gold over to Ultra Prime. But, like, I feel like JackeyLove 100% could have been able to flash away before
save it for Dragon.
I feel like he's saving it for Dragon. So, you know, as much as Ultra Prime are getting gold back, I feel like people get like, this is copium. No. Hack has been his flash. Elk has been his flash. Cryin, Shiauc, both flashless going into this Dragon. And if we look at the side of top esports, a lot of flashes available. So it's a nice play from Ultra Prime. Don't get me wrong. Oh my God, we are looking forwards at that team fight and how it pans out. And yeah, Elk baiting to the last second. And then here, I feel like this was so delayed. Like, Q comes in. Like, you could have easily, I feel like, flashed that if you're ready. But in the end, Hacker gets the kickoff. And once again, 50 seconds until that Dragon. And this is a summoner advantage I want to bring your attention to. The fact top esports, they've got cleanse on Knight from the spellbook. They have flashes on everyone apart from Knight. That could give them a big advantage. And it's for Soul. Yeah. That's why it's so important.
I will also say Rabadon's just completed for Cryin, so at least you have that 3-item power spike on your carries at this point, besides Zoom, who's still struggling a little bit. But Cryin and Elk definitely going to have some damage to back up the engage here. But I think it's all about the setup, and top esports know that. They know they need to get this vision down.
Yeah, the vision's so important, I feel.
Tian just walks up to Shiauc. I don't know if Tian, that's a fight you want to take. I mean, they're going to take down Mark on the side. Tian has to flash away. Now Knight's coming over the edge here. JackeyLove is trying to get in there, but Knight is taking up a storm. He's all by himself, and JackeyLove is handling the side. Wayward the entire time as well. I don't know how top esports do it, but Wayward's got the confidence of a king right now, and he's working on Zoom. He's got a couple auto attacks. Zoom, you were the destined one to die here, but Wayward is overextending. JackeyLove died over the Elk because of the tower, and Wayward cost his team a little bit more in that overextension.
You saved flash for that. JackeyLove, come on, man. Doesn't even use it. And now, I mean, that should have been top esports having Dragon. You could see the thought process was, hey, we might need to kill Hacker, stop the jungler from being there. But a massive overstep from top esports, and now they have to buy time because they know enemy jungler is up. They are beelining over. Tian is going to be here, but they have 10 seconds till JackeyLove is even alive. And a good fight from top esports gets fumbled on the back end.
That's actually huge for Ultra Prime. You see in mid lane, Wayward's working on his Mega Gnar bar here. He wants to get it before he can get into this fight. Ultra Prime are moving in from the southern part of the Dragon Pit here. Elk not in position whatsoever with his team. He needs to get back around Cryin on the side here too. He's going to give up his flank angle, and Ultra Prime will just move in as a body unit here. All 5 of them trying to set up a front to back for Elk.
Oh, look at Wayward. Look at Wayward.
Yeah, they have no idea. No wards are over here. They're walking straight into Wayward, who Mega Gnars into the wall, and top esports. They're trying to move into Ultra Prime, and Ultra Prime have disappeared. Wayward shows Zoom who is who, and top esports, the train keeps on chugging.
And now only Hacker alive. Wayward chases him away. This should be Baron as well for top esports. I said they fumbled the previous fight, and I still maintain that statement. But in this one, the execution was flawless on Wayward. Beautiful flank angle here coming in. Here's that initial fight that comes out. So it starts a little bit early, but I love how JackeyLove is just instantly ready to back away when it looks like he's going to be threatened. And then Knight gets in this mix. And remember, so many people without flashes on the side of Ultra Prime. Once the Swain is in range, it's so hard to get out again. You're just permanently slowed down. They manage to chase down the kills. And then here, bit of an overstep. That's where they get punished. But Wayward with his flank. And bear in mind, instead of ulting them into the wall on the side, he ults them towards his team. He knows Knight is ready. And this Swain does so much work here.
And Hacker knew at the last, he was like, oh my God, we have no vision on our back left side, and we saw that Wayward was there. He tried to get into the bush to stop something from happening, but by then Wayward already had his target set on the back line, and there was nothing that Hacker could do. So it's a little bit of that communication, a little bit of that dysfunction showing itself again for Ultra Prime, and mid lane just got taken by Wayward.
Dude, look at Wayward's inventory. It's just like,
oh my God, no way.
Dude, he's ready, right? He knows.
No way.
He's like, JackeyLove, my captain. If they ever pop Lissandra ult on you, I've got your back. He's like, Knight, you are the king of this team, and if they CC you, I will free you from the chains. Wayward, that is team play, right?
That is team
not
play.
only do you dominate the matchup, you pick up the McHales.
Look
for
at
the
this.
squad.
Yep, okay.
Goodbye.
Yep, Shiauc. I'm sorry. No matter what the roundabout way that Ultra Prime approached this series, they had a chance at the beginning. It was quickly dashed. They tried to bring in Shiauc in game number 2. They were trying stuff. They were getting engages, but in the end, top esports just too strong. And Wayward taking down the inhibit mid lane. The siege at bottom lane is continuing here. And Keeper's Word actually used so they can initiate onto the back of this fight. Wayward almost has Gnar again. Zoom goes down yet again, and Wayward won't find the wallop, but they'll find another inhib.
Oh, he keeps looking for windows with Baron minions there. It's 3v5. Okay, 4v5 now. Shiauc is back up. It's so hard for them to contest here, though.
Oh, Shiauc misses the engage yet again here. Big engage onto JackeyLove, though. They got the kick from Hacker, and that's a big turnaround here, but I don't know if they have the damage to follow it up. Knight goes golden. Top esports eliminate Hacker and the rest of the team, and the Nexus turrets will fall. JackeyLove took another death, but top esports.
The McHales, he frees Tian from the real the fountain.
He did it.
It came in clutch of his own.
Absolute clutch. And speaking of clutch, top esports will continue their dominant win streak and improve to an 11 win streak on the season and go to 11-1.
And you know, top esports in spring with a team who won early, right? And they've dropped the early bit. They're just the team who win. A dominating performance in this series. Yeah. Game 1, they crushed them in the early game, right? Top esports as we know them from this year. But game 2, it was slower paced. It was leaning into the dragons. But I just love the decisions. The fact that, you know, they saved the flashes for the dragon fight. They came into that dragon fight with 4 flashes to 1, I think. So it's like such an advantage, even though the goal discrepancy wasn't there. And then the execution, so good. The Wayward, I mean, all I'm going to say is, like, if you step into replace another player, bear in mind, Mark also replaced Joe at the time. So, you know, you're like, okay, the team's doing better. Maybe it's a bit of me. Maybe it's a bit of the support. Could be multiple things. This series just, like, firmly stamped the fact that Wayward was an upgrade. And he made that very, very clear throughout this series, dominating the matchup between him and Zoom.
Like Grand Canyon dominating up there. I mean, it was both games where it was like huge CS differentials. The fights were going whole-handedly into the Gnar. We talked a little bit about it in the series, about the strength of the Gnar and the presence that we've seen of it, and the fact that Wayward is able to, if it's open, just smash down or down smash the lane, it feels like.
I just found it. I was waiting to see what he uses as a McHales. Because obviously JackeyLove died to Lissandra ult. He didn't get a chance to McHales there. But then I saw Tian rooted on the fountain by the feathers, and he's just like, here you go, buddy.
Hey, you got to find ways to be an integral part to the team. And I think top esports proved against, you know, a bottom of the table team in Ultra Prime why they are so strong, how they can control fights. For me, I like that you brought up the point of execution, because that is what the difference was. Like, no matter, even if the fights were outmatched for TES, it just felt like their decisions within the fights is what brought them to fruition, right? Their split-second decision-making on target selection that wasn't there for Ultra Prime, the movements, the constant setting up and knowing where they can play around Tian, it was so important, and we got to see it work out so well for them.
Yeah, and well, I mean, just look at that goal graph. The fact it felt so even, so back and forth, and then just completely dominated in the end. And Ultra Prime tried. They put up a good fight, but it just wasn't quite enough. JackeyLove, he was the main target, and they did catch him at the very end, but for the most part, managing to navigate quite well. And Knight, this Swain pick I loved here because I feel like, you know, a lot of short-range champions on the side of Ultra Prime. A lot of champions are going to get up close and personal, and the Swain can just apply the AoE slow from the Realize, the damage as well, really set them up. So I honestly just love watching top esports at the moment. So fun, such a fun team, such a fantastic team, really the highest level of League of Legends. And you know, continuing that win streak, they are now able to reclaim first place in the league off the back of that. JDG had taken it with their win, but they are now both 11-1. But top esports has a better game score, so top esports back on well, on top.
Man, I swear I'm rubbing off on you way too much here. You're buying into the puns way too much. I'm starting to get a little scared. But it is actually just a great piece to the puzzle for top esports as they move forward, right? It will tie them up in that first place position. Actually, I believe it makes them take first place position because of the game difference.
Yeah, they are first,
over JDG. But I also want to take this time to, you know, before we get to the MVP conversation, before we get to a little bit more of a highlight on this series, look forward a little bit for top esports, because it feels like they passed a lot of the tests already in the summer season, right? Like, you obviously still have the mega match versus V5, but you're looking at upcoming games, right? They have 4 series left. It's not top esports versus TT, LGD, V5, the one I talked about, and then AL, which will be a little bit of a tough one, but it feels like top esports are set up for success to crest into playoffs at peak form.
Yeah, and ultimately, that match against V5 is the big one that they might be challenged on. But V5, before then, will have to face JDG. Yep. JDG has to, in turn, obviously face V5, but JDG also has to face RNG. So I feel like of those top 3 in the league, the ones who are like have that gap between everyone else, between top esports, JDG, and V5, top esports probably have the easiest remaining schedule, and they really look in form. I personally think that they are probably favored going up against V5 at the moment, but I expect it to be a banger regardless and a close 4-1. But yeah, that is my main question: is will anyone be able to stop top esports win streak, or will they just go 15-1?
The thing is when you're approaching this team as a drafting perspective, it's so difficult. We saw Ultra Prime struggling with that in both games, right? Like, there's so many tools that this team can utilize. Through mid lane, through bottom lane, now through top lane, through jungle, right? Like, the Poppy has to be a band now.
Mazel, all I'm going to say is I think Ultra Prime are a little bit behind on the meta.
A little bit behind.
A little bit behind. You have top esports who are like, yes, Talia, Gnar, Poppy, broken. The fact that they got, the fact that Ultra Prime could have taken out Gnar first pick, right? Yeah. And you've seen, like, you know, there weren't any top lane bans in that first game, and Zoom couldn't answer it, right? There was not a single top lane ban, and yet Zoom cannot answer the Gnar. And I think that kind of tells you how strong this Gnar blind is. You can definitely talk about the player differential, sure, fine. But, like, if this pick is strong enough to blind with every single top lane open in the game and be comfortable, then I think it should have been the first pick. The Lee Sin didn't need to be taken there. You can take it later. Yeah. And Hacker actually had an okay game on the Lee Sin. It just feels like Ultra Prime aren't up to speed in the meta, or they kind of lean at their comfort. And when you're against a team like top esports, you can't give them all these broken champions.
Yeah, I will say, though, there was a vast difference from game 1 to 2. Because Shiauc coming in on the Nautilus just provided that presence that I think we needed to see for Ultra Prime. Even if it didn't work out, even if he ended up like, what, 0-6, 0-7, whatever it was, I still think that there was a vast difference between him and Meow New.
Yeah, I think Shiauc definitely looked good, and like I said, this game was better than game 1. It didn't take much to improve on that.
True.
But at bare minimum, like, at least we saw a bit more life from Ultra Prime. They managed to keep the contestation high early, but it also just kind of tells the story of top esports, the fact that they have improved. They are not just we have to win early to win the game, and we fall apart mid game.
Well, guess what? We got our MVP, and it is the man with the pig emote. Got to figure out what that means, but it is Wayward for top esports, who will be picking up his 3rd MVP of the split. Not too shabby for a day on Gnar, huh?
yeah, I mean, really strong performance, clearly. And I just think the fact that, as I said, going up against the player you replaced and clearly establishing why you are the new model, you're the T1000, right? And yeah, fantastic from him on the Gnar, able to palette that one really well. And I love the McKills as well.
That was
like,
so funny.
You know, it's an item that gives magic resist, right? So it's not like it's all useless stats, but clearly just picking it up for the cleanse of the teammates.
And when you're that far ahead,
I hope they show that clip. I mean, yeah, for sure. But I hope they show that clip of him using it on Tian at the end, saving his life. Just because I think it's hilarious. But yeah, you know, in fairness, Tian did give him some help in this one, but it just felt like consistently he was there in the fights, able to pick up these kills, slamming the enemy team. Like, that's the thing, is often we think of Gnar as a tool to slam them into the wall. He often just threw them into Knight, who obviously thrived off that.
I think Knight's positioning a lot in these fights were really huge, with demonic ascensions with a lot of that consistent damage. But this play right here is what made him so deserving of the MVP in Wayward, because of the turnaround fight, just the instant success that you get. And also,
we're gonna see it.
Yeah, we do get to see it, but it's also the brain play, right? Like, they had a flank option there that was spotted out by Ultra Prime. It got sniffed out, but not fast enough. And then Top Esports finished it off here with the tails.
Here it is. Here it is. Look, Tian gets rooted here. McHale's, and he gets out, saving his jungler there, right? That's where you buy it.
That's play of the week right there. Yeah. That's play of the
week. Yeah, that dragon fight, though, was a big one. Obviously, the flank wasn't seen, but also the fact they had the flash advantage. Wayward could flash in, the rest couldn't respond. So, yeah, fantastic play from him and Top Esports as a whole.
Well, disappointing night for Ultra Prime, at least to finish off week number 7, but absolute domination for Top Esports as they take a 2-0 victory in our first series of the night. But to round out week number 7, we got one more series to go, and it's a little bit of a tighter fight here. It'll be OMG